Welcome everyone, and thanks for being here for our Future Teachers Experience CSUF Becoming a Titan. Heather and I are team members from the Center for Careers in Teaching, and if at any point you have questions, please feel free to utilize the chat or the hand raise or just unmute yourself. We are happy to support you in whatever way we can. We will have a Q&A at the end, though, I should point out. So just as we get started, just quickly an overview of who our team is comprised of. We have Kimberly, who's our student assistant, Heather, who you just met. We have Jennifer, our colleague, who's another advisor, and then I'm Jack, another advisor, and we are all under the direction of Amy here in the Center for Careers in Teaching. So a quick little overview of what we're going to be doing today is we've done the welcome, but hopefully we continue to make you feel welcome throughout this presentation. Heather and I actually are both alumni from Cal State Fullerton, so we have a particular bias towards CSUF, and we're just happy that you're considering Cal State Fullerton as the institution for your undergrad and potentially a teaching credential. So today, we're going to do a scavenger hunt. I'm going to tell you both about the Center for Careers in Teaching, just who we are, what we do, and a quick overview, as well as a pathway to teaching. It can be a little bit confusing, I think, for some students. So we'll cover how one gets to a credential program and become a teacher. And as I mentioned, we will be doing a Q&A at the end, or throughout, really is fine. Really today, we just want you to leave knowing 3 essential things. I think these are really critical for you just as you walk away from today's presentation thinking, what did I learn? So the first is there's actually no teaching or education major at CSUF. Sometimes this is a trick question that I like to ask students if I'm like holding a workshop. I'll say, how many of you are majoring in teaching? And everyone's hands go, they go up in the air. And I say, trick question. Actually, none of you are majoring in that because there's no such thing. So we're going to talk about a little bit about what major would be an appropriate major, or what we do offer in order for you to pursue a career in teaching. Next up is that the teaching credential program at Cal State Fullerton is post-baccalaureate, meaning it's just fancy speak for it takes place after the bachelor's has been earned. That's not to say that there's not ample preparation that should be taking place while you are an undergrad, but the actual one-year program itself is going to happen after you've earned your degree. And then lastly, this is so important, is just for you to plan ahead. So a little bit of background about the Center for Careers in Teaching. It's just the center that Heather and I work for, right? And this is just all the wonderful stuff that we provide that you see up on the screen here. We are a physical space on campus. So in a non-pandemic world, we have a space where you can come and just hang out, have some snacks, some coffee. And in addition to that, we offer wonderful things like advising and just helping you plan out your courses. We know just all the requirements at the teaching credential level and any updates that are made to that. We have a really robust website that you see linked there, kind of easy to follow, the ED at the beginning standing for education, because that's the name of the college that we're a part of. So ed.fullerton.edu/CCT/again. And our Instagram just is, we've been trying to beef that up with more information. So I would suggest giving us a follow. We won't follow you back or do anything creepy like that. We just, this is one of the easiest ways to get information out to you. So 2 programs that I'd like to highlight today. The first is Titan Future Teachers. And this, I'm a little biased just because this is a program that I coordinate. So I'm very passionate about it. Really all it is as we just see with the 2 of you here today, you are in 2 separate interests as far as wanting to teach, right? But you're both freshmen and you're both interested in teaching, but how would you ever meet? You're not going to meet probably in a major class because you're very likely to be 2 different majors. So Titan Future Teachers is a place where all future educators can come together and just build community. We have lots of professional development opportunities, and really, I just want to recommend that you give us a follow there at CSUF_TFT on Instagram. Lots of information is going to be coming out this summer about how to join TFT for fall 2021. And then next up is a program specifically for men of color in education, which may not apply to you today, but eventually you might come in contact or make some friends with those who might identify as an African American or Latino male who wants to be a future teacher, and just know that we have a wonderful program for them as well, where also community building is at the forefront of that program, and just different workshops that focus on cultural relevancy. Okay, and then their Instagram is located right there also. So before I start clicking through this slide, I know that, well, I think high school was just a little bit ago for me, just a couple of years. In high school, you typically have one counselor, right, that helps you with navigating applications to college. Maybe you didn't even see your counselor, but at Cal State Fullerton, you have multiple counselors, or more commonly what we refer to as advisors. And so the CCT, our team, the Center for Careers in Teaching, we're comprised of advisors, but then your major will also have a respective major advisor, and there could be a team of advisors from your major. So we just want to highlight that, yes, there is a difference. And yes, you should be seeing both. And we each kind of do our own specialty areas. So we never mean to take the place of major advising, but we work in conjunction. So every semester, we like to have students see us as well as someone from their major. So we're going to help you with picking out all your classes, but then also getting you just up to speed with all of the requirements to get into a teaching credential program. So like I said, once a semester is going to be great. And so while you might be really eager to do this now, we're going to encourage you to wait until after your summer orientation that you'll have to meet with us, because more information is going to be coming this summer that will likely help you with whatever is like, bouncing around in your mind of like, well, what classes am I supposed to be taking? And just all of that nervous energy that comes before your first semester, I think, at college. And then major advising, they're going to keep you on track with your major specifically. Also, once a semester, recommendation for them. And this is a really good point down here, is every major should have their own respective website on the Cal State Fullerton website. So if you just even run a Google search, like, CSUF math, CSUF child and adolescent studies, you should be able to find their page. And usually it's just jam-packed with lots of worksheets and helpful information. And sorry, one last thing about that previous slide is that that's usually how you find a link or information about how to schedule that appointment with your advisor as well. Okay, something that you probably are wondering about is where am I going to be doing my classes next semester? Am I driving to campus or somehow getting to the campus, or am I still going to be at home in my jammies? So it's kind of a variety right now. We have about 65% of our classes are anticipated to be in an on-campus in-person modality for fall 2021, but that's not to say that an online modality is still out there and available. So some are going to be in person, some are going to be online, some are hybrid. So you just really need to be careful with reading the, I think it's under the room or location when you go to select a class, but that you're not registering today. Later on that summer, we can help you with that. So the teaching pathway, a little bit of info about that. So this is a very boiled down version, but essentially when we just get down to the basics, a student needs a bachelor's degree, which you are about to begin that journey. Then you would need a teaching credential, and bippity boppity boo, you become a teacher. There's obviously more things involved, but those are the two key things to facilitate your pathway to becoming a teacher. And some little images to follow there. Okay, so earlier I had talked about a major, right? That there's no teaching major in education. So what should your major be? So Anna, you were saying that you're interested in teaching elementary school. And so that is under the umbrella of what we call a multiple subject credential, because you would be teaching a little bit of everything, right? And so we see typically that these three majors here, child and adolescent studies, liberal studies, and human services, tend to be the more popular ones on campus because they have each one calls it something different, a option, a concentration, a track. It all means the same thing for essentially like what I refer to as a teacher package of classes. Each of the 3 majors up on the screen offers that same teacher package. But I tell students that these are all ice cream. You can't go wrong with ice cream unless I guess you're lactose intolerant or something. But each ice cream that you choose is going to have a different flavor. So you just need to pick the flavor that is best for you, that you enjoy the most. And so those 3 majors here are those ice cream flavors, but each one has its own flavor and you have to pick one that's best for you. Hopefully that made sense. Next up is a single subject, right? So now I'm getting confused. Alyssa wants to do elementary, I think. No, Alyssa wants to do math and Anna wants to do elementary. So for single subject like mathematics, it's gonna make sense, right? That if you want to teach mathematics, you should probably major in French. I'm just kidding. You should choose math, right? That's going to make the most sense. It's not required. No, there is no, entity that's going to say you must switch your major, but it really just makes the most amount of sense and alignment with that future curriculum for you to choose a corresponding major. And then lastly, for special education, it's kind of similar. You want to choose a major that aligns with your future subject. So that kind of depends on the level that you might be interested in teaching. But if it's an elementary school level or age group, then one of the 3 majors here at the very top that we were talking about, then one of those 3 would be appropriate for special education. So maybe this applies to you now, maybe it might apply to you in the future. If you ever feel like you want to change your major for one reason or another, you're welcome to do so. Obviously at a certain point, like if you're about to graduate in a few weeks, probably not recommended for you to switch your major. I guess theoretically you could. We're not recommending that. But prior to that would be more appropriate. So if you are at this point, if you have accepted your admission and you are today interested in changing your major, then you just want to follow a couple of deadlines here. So there is a form you would need to fill out, and this is before May 1st. That's kind of a critical day. But after May 1st, if you decide that you want to switch your major, it can still absolutely be done, but it's just going to be through a different pathway. We're going to be emailing out this PowerPoint presentation so you can revisit some of this information here. So you can see the links and everything on how to complete that process. Some more dates here, just if you're taking notes or maybe you want to snap a picture of the screen. So if you haven't done so already, May 1st, coming up here in just a couple weeks, this is going to be the deadline to accept your offer of admission and pay the enrollment deposit of $250, unless you're eligible for that fee waiver, which you would have been that would have been communicated with you over email. Okay, so that's a really critical one here. I'm not going to go over transfer students today. Just neither of you are transfer students. So freshmen, the 2 of you, by July 15th. Okay. And I'm kind of slowing down here just for dramatic emphasis. This is the date that your official high school transcripts with your graduation date, that's when they're due. And if you have any AP or other scores, they'll be due by that date as well. Okay, so really adhering to that deadline is critical. So that way, when we get all your information, we see all the classes and coursework that you've already completed, it's accurate, it's up to date, and we can just help you get off on the right foot at Cal State Fullerton. And as far as summer orientation, I had kind of alluded to that earlier, like what's the next step? Those are gonna, they're called modules. Those are gonna open up beginning July 1st for freshmen, a little bit earlier for transfers. And more information will be communicated to you about those, but really summer orientation is when we just, this is like a light version of what happens at summer orientation, with the emphasis being on what classes should you actually register for. I think that's one of our specialties, and we guide you through that whole process so you don't have to feel like you have to figure it out alone. Okay. So really here at the end is just a plug for our center to really let you know that I think we do a great job of coming up with personalized, individualized plans for students. Our advising appointments are currently set at 45 minutes of just one-on-one advising. And so I know I told you to wait until after summer orientation, but eventually you would be scheduling those appointments, hopefully once a semester. Checking out our website is going to be great, and the Instagram, just because we don't want it to feel overwhelming. It can feel overwhelming, the amount of information that's out there and the steps that you have to pursue, but we really want to make it approachable and just let you know that we're here to support you every single step of that process. That's really just the key points that we wanted to communicate with you today. Just thank you for carving time out of your schedule to meet with us.